Technology for learning and teaching comes in many different forms. It's not just computer software or some type of electronic device that helps us learn. There's many different types of puzzles and gizmos and doodads and gadgets that we can use in order to learn. Maybe it's just exercising our brain, exercising our creativity, or just relaxing so that we can then go on to learn something new. And in this video, I'm going to show you 5 different categories of things that I have in my desk drawers. Now, there'll be things that are classics that you've all seen. There'll be some things that were part of different fads that came out over the years. There'll be some things that are beautiful, very fancy things that are really well engineered and fun to play with. There'll be some things that are a little bit geeky that, a lot of computer people will appreciate. Some of you may or may not appreciate it. I'll show you that. And there'll even be something that was illegal for a couple years. It's not illegal now, but it might not be the best idea to bring into your classroom. And I'm going to show you all of those things right now. The first thing is, of course, the classic Rubics Cube. Now, these are a lot of fun to have in a classroom environment or to have in your desk drawer because there's always going to be some kid that can solve this in about 30 seconds or less. In fact, it's amazing what people have done with Rubics Cube. And here's the classic 3x3 Rubics Cube. Now, in my desk drawers, I also have the 4x4 Rubics Cube. So if I get somebody who's a real smart person and they go ahead and they solve this cube super fast, throw this one at them and see how they do. And occasionally you'll find somebody who can solve the 4x4, no worries, because I've got the 5x5, which as you can see remains unsolved. In fact, I can't solve any of these at this point. I shouldn't say I can't. I'm learning how to solve the 3x3, and I will then progress to the other cubes as time and energy permits. This is a classic desk drawer toy. Another category of things that you'll find in a teacher's desk drawer will be those things that are part of various fads. Now, some of these fads come and go in some sort of cycle. A good example of this would be like the yo-yo. I don't currently have a yo-yo, which is kind of strange, but I do have some other things that are part of different fads that come and go. Does anybody remember these? It's the Kendama. Now, I'm not very good at the Kendama. My son got very, very good at it, but basically it's a ball on a string and you try to catch it and all sorts of stuff. I won't embarrass myself here. There's actually a whole methodology to it, but you might see a Kendama in a drawer. Another classic example is the fidget spinners. Everybody likes a good fidget spinner. I still do enjoy the fidget spinner, even though it's kind of a fad toy. I think that they're very handy. And if you want to go really old school, you can even get a bag of marbles. Now, another category of desk toys that you might see out there are things that are very beautifully and aesthetically pleasing. A classic Newton's Cradle would be an example of that. Right now I have these beautiful tops. So there's this Forever Spin Top Company that makes these beautiful metal tops out of different types of metal. There's titanium, there's aluminum, there's stainless steel. There's even tops that are made out of pure silver. So these are very, very beautiful, and you can spin them and fidget with them, and you can, start developing your topping skills. They're just a nice thing to fiddle around with when you're playing and thinking, just to have something to do with your hands. It's sort of like an evolution of the fidget spinner, I suppose, but these are very, very beautifully machined devices. But what about the geeky stuff? Well, how about a magic wand and some Dungeons and Dragons dice? I usually have a couple sets of Dungeons and Dragons or role-playing dice, multi-sided dice, whatever you want to call them, in my desk drawer. The magic wand is optional. However, the dice themselves are not only fun because you can play games with them, but they're also kind of useful in the classroom. What you can do is if you're having presentations or if you want to assign students to different groups, you have all sorts of different sided dice. So if I want to divide my students into 4, I have a 4-sided dice. If I want to divide them into 12, I have a 12-sided dice, 8-sided dice, 10-sided dice, a lot of dice. So the idea is that you can use these in order to do things like which order which group goes in a presentation, but they're really just geeky things that I like to have. I kind of think the magic wand is semi-optional. It's kind of, dice-o-rolio, something like that. But what about the illegal category? Well, for that, I have these on my desk. These are called buckyballs, and they're not illegal anymore. But for a couple years, they were recalled by some sort of government agency in the United States because what they are is rare earth magnets. And the challenge that they had, or the problem that they were suggesting with these devices, with these little rare earth magnets, is that if you swallow them, you're going to go to the hospital. And probably not so that you can throw them up, but so that you can go under the knife and have them removed. The problem is that they're very, very powerful little magnets, so if a student was to swallow them, they could pinch an intestine, and that can cause major, major problems. So because of that, they were recalled, which is a real shame because they're actually a whole lot of fun to play with. So I'm not sure I would bring these into a classroom with younger kids or even with older kids that have TikTok, because you never know what they're going to get up to putting in their mouth to eat. So they might decide like, hey, I dare you to eat some buckyballs, and that would be a very, very bad idea. So don't eat rare earth magnets. But on my desk, where I'm in charge of what's there, I like to play with these quite a bit. There's all sorts of things you can do because they're rare earth magnets, and what's more fun than a magnet kind of clicking things together. So this becomes a nice little sort of stress reliever where I can play around with these when I'm thinking or reading on the computer. It's kind of fun to have something in your hand and have something that, you know, rare earth magnets can do all sorts of very cool things. I'd be really interested in knowing, what do you have in your desk drawers, and what do you play with when you're at your desk when you want to fiddle around with something? Any of these resonate with you? Any of these things that you want to go and check out? Or do you have something else that you use that I might want to check out myself? Comment down below. If you like this video, a little bit of a departure from the learning and technology, go ahead and hit the like, subscribe, and share with colleagues. All that stuff helps the channel. And if you want to learn about how to use technology to learn and teach better, check out some of the other videos on the channel. Thanks for watching.